everybody, this is Bulldozer Investing. As many of you guys know, I had to give a break due to my illness. I had caught coronavirus and finally recovering. Back, no complaints. We're given health and we need to make sure we always take care of it well. So I did try to do um, as much as I can to recover, and I'm back up. So let's begin. Back to business, right? First off, we're going to start with VIX. As we've drawn this before, last time I'm sorry, my voice is going to be gone on and off because I'm barely recovering my voice back. But as we had as we had mentioned before, whenever we drew this previously, is that I mentioned about this 161.8 flooring, which it lost. It tried to grab a couple times, and then now it's going to go for $15, so around $15. I think VIX is basically pretty much dead at this point, and we've seen betting going on with somebody bet like 40 some million dollars that VIX is gonna spike to 40 by June or whatever. I mean, these could be hedge. It could be I mean, it could be hedging. I don't know. I'm not into those types of things. I don't really follow option flow a lot. Maybe I should. I'm not sure. But so we can see every time we hit this blue line, then we get a violent, spike up, even though it doesn't matter where the cloud is. So my guess is, and it could last for a couple, like from October to January, so give or take 3-4 months until February, and we've seen that on and off. This blue line could be your support for VIX. So you might have, let me just draw a picture so you guys can get an image of what I'm trying to say here, is that it could be on and off like this until it takes off. But overall, it basically lost this flooring, okay? And it had this red line was going to be your the resistance. I thought that it would go something like this and spike up. However, I think VIX was crushed by some of the indexes that we'll review. Honestly, the stocks that I own are definitely in S&P 500. My stocks didn't go up as much as S&P 500. That's the funny thing. I just think it was it was superficial, artificial pump on the indexes, but the stocks themselves are basically just starting to recover. We're just seeing Apple and Google coming up and doing their place. I think the sector is shifting from those recovery plays of the airlines and the cruises towards now they're going to the big mega cap techs. And then once they're done with that, it's a rotation to keep the bull market going. Once they're done with that, they'll go back to the small caps again. So it's a rotation. The small caps will probably go around June, July. They'll probably go up by then. But anyways, just returning back to our topic here, I think this blue line is going to be decisive on where the VIX is going to be, and that's about $15 range. And if it can't hold, then you're looking at $10 range, which is I'd be surprised if it gets there. But that's my VIX analysis, basically. It lost the floor that it was gaining, this red line. Now it's going to go for the blue trend line. Next up on our list is SPY. So SPY was interesting, and it did get to the places that I said it would, and it actually touched it today. And a lot of people were thinking I might have been. It was very nice buying volume for the last couple days. And believe me or not, when did I say this? The stock was right here. We were in the 387s. We were gaining momentum off of the cloud. And I said, you got to see this 3 times, 1, 2, and 3 times bounce back off of the cloud top. And I said, we're going towards 411 to 413. And again, I don't want to say I was right. I was right. This was barely an amateur play. It's so simple. You could have seen it from miles away. A lot of people were freaking out about the market. I said, no, don't freak out. I said it here. I said it here. Don't freak out. It's just gaining momentum. Basically what it did was get a very nice support off of the cloud top twice, and then it just broke off, and you can tell by the time it broke the 9-day, that's when SPY was taking off. Would it get a rest? I don't know. Let's see how this the yellow box is gonna play out. Actually, I should have fixed the box here. Yeah. So let's see how this yellow box is gonna take off. I mean, honestly, 411 was my target, and we're there. I'm not trying to scare people. The You could see all this buying coming in, and I think the market is gonna continue. We're gonna have a hot summer. Um, I would say that by summer, end of summer, we're gonna reach 440s. If we hit again, this is going to be a strong resistance. If we hit 420, maybe we'll hit 420 on 420. I don't know. But that's going to be my trigger for, SPY puts maybe. I don't know. But along the way, this was a very nice play. We pointed it out so many times that SPY is bullish, and nobody believed us, and that's what you get. It's pure technical. 420 and 440s. 440 is going to be my target. Your support is going to be 403 and then 401. Next up is QQQ, so we'll go ahead and look at QQQ. QQQ is just starting, so that's what I mean by sector rotation, right? Maybe we'll see slowdown in SPY, but then QQQ will pick up. It's just starting, and where it's gonna go to is basically we're gonna see 364. This is just starting. You're gonna see Apple, you're gonna see Tesla, you're gonna see, I don't know if Tesla is SPY, it's a SPY, it's not QQQ, but you're gonna see the text, the bigger, Amazon, Google kind of took off earlier than the other names, but you're gonna see big tech names just explode. This is beautiful, and I can draw here. This is in the longer term. Let's draw another one in the shorter term. Um, Yeah, this chart is beautiful. You're gonna see by next week or so, I'd say like in 2 weeks, 352. Um, it's gonna have to take out all-time high, and it's going to next week. This is purely you see this W formation. It might flag and just take off. Eventually, by summer, 380 is my goal for QQQ. And then we said 340 for SPY. So QQQ is going to go much faster than SPY. In a couple of weeks, you'll see it. And a lot of buy volume. Lot of the cheap, you get your apples from 118, 115, 116, 120s. That's where people bought in. And I kept telling when it was on the 135s that wait, it might see 116, and that's where the place where people bought it. And I feel sorry for the sellers here because they're kind of stupid. We're still in the bull market. You'll have these idiotic people. I don't want to call names, but you know who they are. They're just clowns. These people have been calling bear market for the last 10 years. I don't know. I lost count. Peter Lynch or whatever. I mean, these people every day they'll be like, you'll see. Well, a broken watch can tell the time correct twice in 24 hours. So those are the people. They're just broken watch, and they'll be right every once couple days. But these are not the people that will tell you, okay, we have the double bottom, we'll take off, we're going to go to the 100% extension, we're going to go to the 161.8 extension. They don't care. They're just out there to milk people and get money from there. Some people, have to, milk the cows. And I'm sorry, but people are cows, stupidly, just listening to these fools. Buy gold, buy gold, buy gold. Look at the statistics. If you had bought gold for the last 10 years versus you bought the market for the last 10 years. Yeah, the market will reset, the market will pull back, but eventually who'll win in the long term? These people are just there to make money, sell their books, get their fame from Twitter. But I think they're just clowns, honestly. I mean, you can tell me that I'm a clown. I'm a clown, but they're like the master of clown. I'd say 99% of all the fintechs are clowns. You'll see people, talking about selling at lows. They'll be like, okay, I'm going out cash. I literally had people that had like 250K followers on Twitter. These people wrote like 10 books and so forth. Freaking, they went and sold. They went all cash in all these lows here. I didn't hear anybody calling the top here. I didn't call anybody calling the bottom here on the fintech. Everybody, everybody supposedly went cash at the tops, but then look at their tweets. They were freaking scared off their pants and they sold everything and cashed out at the bottoms. They didn't tell anybody to buy. Well, we were screaming our asses off here in the videos that this is double bottom. Don't worry, we're going to spike to 61.8. That's what we did exactly. We're calling technicals here. I don't care how many followers I have. I don't care the fame that, I'm not selling books. I'm not selling service. I don't give a shit what they do. Just freaking losers. I mean, I swear I'm going to flat out curse them. This corona might have gotten my, freaking patience off of me. But the thing is this. I hate seeing these fools milk cows, okay? They're milking off of you. They're selling books. They're claiming that they've been in the market for 30 years, 40 years. Freaking I don't even know where these clowns are coming from. But no, everybody said buy, buy, buy the top, and then when we were down, they're like, oh, I'm going all cash in. Look at my fucking sorry, but look at my freaking yellow box here, gold box here. We pointed this out when we were at here. We pointed it out. And then what did I say off of here? I said a very nice candle, the VIC. It's turning out to be a recovery signal. I said we're going to probably 50 or 61.8, but then we'll always pull back and then go for the second time. Always had said that. Freaking fools. 250k followers, my ass. Fucking 10 books of... Get out of here, man. I don't even know how these clowns write books. They can't even write a fucking sentence. Freaking fools telling people to sell at the lows. Forget these clowns. And then FUBO goes up 18%. They're telling people to buy now. Where were you when it was 2060? Clowns of Twitter, I swear. And then they have these freaking pumpers and peasants going off of their bowls and saying, oh, I got in a blah, blah, blah. Where were you when it was 18% cheaper? Exactly. These are fools. Don't even freaking... I just laugh whenever they put every single post they post. I laugh. And then I laugh even more that they have followers telling them that they bought them at 18% premium FUBO when it was 2060 the other day. Laugh at them. All right, I'm sorry I've got off, but like these people are really pissing me off, telling people they wrote books, 6-7 books. Supposed millionaires don't know freaking how to even read a basic chart. All right, next up is Dow. I'm going to try to calm down a bit, but like when I look at Twitter, more than I get a laugh, but then I get pissed off at how many people just get sucked into these. Yeah, have I had wrong calls? Of course I did. But at least I'm honest about it. I'm not going off and say I went full cash, blah, 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 at the bottom of the market. I'm yelling my butt off and say, okay, look at this. I kept saying, look at this. Two bounces off the cloud. I said that Dow looked more bullish than any other. And I said I wouldn't be surprised if it hits 161. Now look at where it's going, 340. I was yelling it's going to 340 when this thing was 352. I'm sorry, 325. Seeing the numbers backwards. This corona got into me bad. I thought corona was a joke, guys. Honestly, it wasn't that bad. I just got flu, but it just wears you out, gets you tired, so tired. Guess I'm young, but like I can see if you're a heavy smoker or you have some lung problems, it might affect you. Even after my recovery, I'm going up the steps and I'm catching my breath. I'm walking my dog and I'm catching up my breath. And I was pretty athletic, like I've done some sports and stuff like that. But if you're chain smoker and you're not good shape, you're not in good shape, it might affect you. It gets you really tired. The muscle recovery it's tough afterwards. But Jesus, like I've been telling people, 325s, 320s. I said we hit the 100%, we hit the 61.8. I said we'll get a pullback, and we did. And where did we bounce off? Right here, exact top right. It's purely technical. And then what did I say the week before I took off because of my corona positive? I said we're going to 340, and that's where we're going, guys. 2 points off of there. Okay. So Dow is definitely hitting 340, 343. Then we'll reconsider. But look how far ahead Dow is. We've seen that 261.8 extension for QQQ is way up there at 380. SPY, the 261, way up there, you know, 440s or whatever. I just forgot the number. Rewind back the video and you'll see. But look at Dow, it has already reached. So we'll have a sector rotation when it hits 340. We'll have that flow of the Boeings, the airlines, the cruises going back into Apples, and Facebook has already taken off a little too, you know, broken all-time highs. But you'll see the big cap, the big mega tech caps are, you know, big mega caps of tech world. You're gonna see the rotation over there. So the next stock that I'm gonna talk, or the ETF we're gonna talk about, is Russell, and then we'll go into stocks. Next up, first of all, we'll do Russell, and then next up will be Apple. But let's go ahead and do Russell. Russell is gonna take off, but I said that we're waiting for summer, like early summer, maybe June, July. But you see the difference here. We're still at the top of the cloud. When I say we're still at the top of the cloud, I literally meant Ichimoku cloud. This chart looks bullish, guys. Now look at the daily averages. It's supportive. Support off of the cloud. It was a recheck, so we got a support right, and it's millimetric, guys. Look at this. I didn't draw this cloud. It just generated automatically, right? I don't touch anything. So we're gonna see a takeoff like this, but it's gonna be towards the 241s. Of course, your first resistance are going to be 228, 231, but I think we tested that area before, so we're just going to take off. But our next is going to be 241. We can draw another extension here very easily here. So in fact, 251 would be my my area. Let's go ahead and take this off and maybe put it here. I'm going to redraw some things. Where is this coming from? Okay. Delete. I have to readjust some things here. You see how accurate these are, right? Look where the bottom of the support was today. The 9-day moving average and where the 50% Fibonacci extension is. Okay. Yeah, the resistance is going to be 223. This is the micro level, right? If you extend out, I think we're going to hit 251 eventually in June, July area, as I said. So our next is going to be QQQ is going to go on a run. Dow is going to go up a few more points, and then it's going to go towards, the money's going to go towards QQQ. And then once they rotate from QQQ, it's going to go back to Russell. This is the small caps, the high growth names, right? So just wait and see. I think that what scares me is, you guys know the rounding top that I always talk about. What scares me is this. Let's take a look at the picture over here. That's why I'm giving Russell a little bit more time. I think there are more bullish ETFs out there. SPY and QQQ looks more bullish, but this rounding top cannot play. So if it hits here and comes back, we're gonna have to wait on it. We're gonna have to wait on it to see if we're gonna get like a pennant like this, okay, and then break out. But I think that Russell by summer is gonna hit 251. The support is going to be the cloud, so it's going to probably bounce up and down here and then take off. So we'll give some, and I hope it's not a diamond, so this could look like a diamond in a way. So we'll see how that goes. But worst case scenario, your bottom will be 215 for Russell, and if it loses that, then it's bearish. But for now, I think that Russell is going to have more time to deal with than QQQ. Next up is Apple. So I've made some pretty good money on Apple the last couple days on my options. The 130 for 16, and I put 135 for the 23rd of April. So those made me pretty good money for the last couple days. I think the 130s were about like 55, 60 cents. And then it went up to as high as I can't recall, like $253. I don't know. But it was, so when, this is what I'm talking about. Do not buy Apple when, things haven't bottomed out, especially options. It's going to eat away. But when you have, here, let me draw it so you guys can see it better. This area right here, that's when I told people stay away from Apple. It's not decisive. More or less, it's doing a rounding top, and then also the rounding top here. It's probably gonna, I'd say my first buy area will be here. My second buy area will be here. And then we said, and then we were like going in and out the cloud. And when we were here, I said, I don't believe it because it looks like a bear flag. And then I went in and put this yellow box here. Where did it touch? Okay. That's when I told people that if it hits the yellow box, that will be my old buying point. And then you have the ABC here, the double bottom, whatever you want to call it. And then it took off. So it might flag and take off again. I think it's going to hit 140 with the all-time high within 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks. A lot of buying coming in Apple. MACD is also, let's look at the MACD. MACD has crossed up. Okay. And then you have the stochastics, and then your RSI is also showing bullish signals here. So Apple, we can go ahead and draw this extension here, fib extension. There you go, 136 and then 147. 136 at least by next week. At least by next week. So this target right here will be reached very soon. Apple, the rotation is going into Apple. Trust me on that. The weekly options, and this is the beauty. When everybody sells those, the authors with 10 books, 15 books, marketing all over, buy my books, and you have those stupid people saying, oh, I didn't read that part of your book, let me buy it. Stupid people. But anyhow, those retards were selling Apple here, going all cash, while I said that, we're bottoming out. That's when you go in to buy the options of Apple, and 1%, 2% moves could make you 100, 200% on the weeklies. I'm not telling you to put your whole bank account. I'm not telling you to go buy options or anything. But when you're buying options here, you're paying the premium. They're expensive, and then you're going to lose everything. When you're buying options here, so cheap. I mean, honestly, when Apple was 125, $5 move for 2 weeks was like $1.90. That's like Apple can't move 4%. Yeah, it can. Yeah, it can, and it will. It will go to 136 and then 145 in 2 weeks. I think it should be 145. So Apple is looking bullish here. I love the bottoming out of Apple here. And the rotation will go towards these stocks. You see this bottom here, okay? And I wouldn't be surprised if it flags and then moves up, okay? This is going to be, you see this top right here, that's going to be your resistance, and then this top is going to be your second resistance. Okay, next up is CCIV, so let's take a look. I haven't looked at this chart for a long time, and I kept telling people that these runs you sell. A lot of people were suggesting, can you show me the chart? Can you show me the chart? There's no technicals about these things. Yeah, we had this, fear of missing out about all the specs, and Tesla was running hard, and then, yeah, I mean, no offense, Lucid Motors might be really good company. It's just that, and honestly, I don't know how these specs work. They start off with $10, and so for $64, that's like 600%, 640%. So the issue here is that I don't know how the valuations go. I don't know how Lucid as a company would do, and so forth. So it was hard for me to judge anything technically, other than I've said, like, if it reaches this yellow box, you can sell, and it went way above it, but then came all down. Okay? So it's for, if you still have the stock, what do you do at this point? I mean, let's reevaluate things. The daily chart here is not, I mean, it's hard to do technical on the daily. Maybe we could try like 4 hours. It might look like a big head and shoulder, but it all depends on the action here. It needs to break above the cloud. I can only give you scenarios. I can't really read off of what it's going to do. It's really hard to guess on this one. I can tell you that it could go towards, in this red line we drew before, it could go towards the 2620s, $27. But it's not going to be a very fast and easy recovery. I can tell you that. Because once these specs are out of fashion, people are going to go for different places. Your support is going to be 2178 and your resistance is going to be 27. Honestly, I don't want to give price targets on these names. It's because, first of all, they don't really move technical. You're going to say everything moved technical on the market. Yeah, you could think that way. But some things like Apple, it's very easy for me because I've been doing Apple, I've been charting Apple for such a long time, and I almost can tell like how it's gonna react. But with these names and being spec and like Lucid Motors and it has like its own thing, own story, I just don't want to take my chance telling people and then be wrong about it. I can only tell you stuff that I can surely see and tell you that, okay, it's going to go there. But 9-day right now is acting as a resistance, and the second resistance is going to be your 20-day, which is 24.96, let's say 25. If you're shooting for the star, I'd say 28 for now. You're going to say, well, it was $60. Why can't I just buy it now and maybe it'll fill the gap? Yeah, but I'd go for other names. It's still a spec. Don't forget that it's still a spec. And then we don't know what happens when it actually does turn over to be Lucid. Just like Clo, we've seen the history with Clo. They're two different stocks, two different industry. I get that, but you see many specs that after they convert, they basically just crash down. I don't want to say anything other than, yeah, it's nice that I see a bottom and a bottom here, but it's not a good thing that I don't see a follow-up. We'll see Palantir where it had the same thing and it looks like a massive head and shoulder, but then it picked up and it's like about to break off the downtrend. I don't see that with Churchill. So we'll see how that goes, but I'm going to be neutral with this name and I think it still has time. If you're really bullish on it, the 50% right here, 27.27 should be your goal. But I'm not gonna pump up this stock like other people out there, YouTubers. They're like, oh, I put $500,000. I'm gonna become a millionaire. I have 3 million followers. Blah blah blah. And next thing you see, and they made money as well. And then like now they're probably negative. Those who exactly what I'm talking about. Another clown, absolutely, absolute clown of YouTube. But made his money, and then you're like, oh, it's okay, and then came hard. So these kinds of names, when it's Apple, it's fine. You lose some, you'll gain back, right? But with these, you get an opportunity once, you might not get it again. That's the issue with these names right there. So even reading the chart might not help you out because once it turns Lucid Motors, it might just not follow up. I don't know. So all I can say is that my bullish scenario will be 27. Your support is going to be like $22 area. Next up is, honestly, I've never heard this name, but ERBB. ERBB, American Green. I don't know. I don't know what you guys, sometimes like you guys suggest American Green Inc. I hope I got this right. ERBB. Never heard of this company. Excuse me for not knowing everything, but well, the chart doesn't look that bad. It is getting some support off of the 100-day moving average, but there has to be some signs of takeoff here, okay? So I don't usually like to get in while here. I either like to get in at the bottom of the channel or when it breaks out. If it does break out, you're looking at the current resistance is going to be 0093, and I think the next resistance is going to be it's basically 1 cent, so 0118. I don't like to do technicals on penny stocks. You're going to say you don't like to do technicals on specs. You don't like to do technicals on penny stocks. What do you like to do? Well, this is the thing. These are highly speculative controlled by few people, okay? And once they let it go, it drops. I don't know what kind of business it does. All these are questions in my head that I have to answer first because I'm just reviewing these off the bat, right? MACD looks like it's about to cross over. So stochastic's not ready. RSI is not ready. I think it's going to go down. Although, like you can see a breakout, we have not seen the breakout yet. I like to get in these kinds of names after the breakout. Now, before the breakout, it could just not happen and it could melt away and just eat away from your money. And even though it looks like within, not even a cent, every single little drop, it can cost you thousands of dollars. So I'd rather play Apple options than play penny stocks, because Apple options, I made like 60% on one of the options today, and then I made like 35% on one of the options. Now, the options could get you 500% every day. I'm not talking about risky options. I'm talking about like in the money options for Apple, because it's a better, safer play than some of these penny stocks. I'm not dissing the stock. It's just that I don't have the homework. I haven't done my homework for the stock, and the chart doesn't look ready yet. If I say it's ready, just go come down more. It hasn't broken out yet. FireEye. So many years ago, I was coaching soccer, and one of my guys, he's like really nerdy guy at the time. He got, even as a senior in high school, he got a scholarship from Northrop Grumman, cybersecurity SOC operations, cybersecurity operations center. So he was a very intelligent guy, and at there he said they used FireEye. So he decided to buy the stock when it was $90. I had him sell it. Since then, this stock has not like done anything. It was $90 and then it's just like $10, 15, 20, 10, 15, 20. Now, back then nobody understood cybersecurity and it wasn't a big deal because the data wasn't as popular as is now. Has time come for FireEye? Has time come for Palo Alto? Was always a better company, but they're more of networking than FireEye. But like, has time come for CrowdStrike, FireEye, Datadog isn't really a cybersecurity company, is it? I'm not sure. I don't think so. So we have like other names out there that I might have forgotten. But anyhow, well, you have a huge flag running. So this spike up was due to that huge SolarWind news, Microsoft SolarWind, whatever, right? Microsoft and FireEye found it, or I don't know what the story was back then. But like, this was the spike, and since then it's just like melting down. I think it is forming a rounding bottom, and it did reach and even a little way below our target. Okay. So where would we think the stock will end up going? I think in the long run, FireEye is a great play. I think in the long run, FireEye is going to do well. It just needs to break above this channel. It's a clear channel. And this 100-day moving average was a great support here, here, and here. Let's zoom in for people to see it better. So overall, I think that it's basically doing a squeeze play. We can draw little lines here, right there. I think it's going to go up. Let's draw an extension here. Yeah, cloud top makes sense, $20 to $21 range, and then eventually 25 is not that bad. The whole time all-time highs could come in. It could be some news related, something happens. I think Biden administration is going to favor these stocks. Palantir, your FireEye, CrowdStrike, whatever, all these other names out there, right? The security firms, even going into like Northrop Grumman, Lockheed Martin. All these names are going to do great under this administration. And I think that it's onto a verge of breaking out. I don't know how the resistance at the cloud bottom will be, but I would aim for 2080, 2124. Long run, again, in a couple months or so, I don't know how the earnings will be a reaction. It's never had great earnings. The company itself, I can zoom out to like 5 years. Company itself, So I was coaching for some time ago. Wow. All right, so let me do this. Maybe it's definitely more than 5 years. Or, oh, this was 3 years. It's not 5 years. That's why. 5 years weekly. No, this is 5 years weekly. Let's do 10 years monthly. Yeah, this was the time when I told him to sell. I'm like, what the heck are you doing? Like, it's $90. Don't get stuck with these types of things. And he told me that I saved his entire money. Basically, he had no clue what he was doing back then. I had him buy, the worst part is that I had him buy, what's that company's name? It'll come up to me, but that thing went from $1 to $25. I don't know if he held it though. Yeah, so it has not been doing anything since, this time range right here. What is this time range? Am I getting any informational? 2016. So since 2016, we're at, these levels right here. I think in the long run, if it hits 33, it's in the cloud finally. But this is monthly. Let's do weekly. On the weekly, you see this megaphone. Once it breaks out, it's gonna go ahead really high. Like I think $33, $34 should be my target. But again, you see the lackluster, and when this thing just crashes down, it's hard to know when. It's like since 2016. It's been 5 years and it's in the same price range. If you have time, if you have confidence in the sector, yeah. Would you choose CrowdStrike or this? I don't know. I'd rather go with like Cloudflare than these names. So it depends on, you got to do your homework, you got to do your study. I just think that there could be better names out there for the shorter term side of things. If you're a long-term investor, there's nothing wrong with this company, obviously, because I'm in the cybersecurity business. In fact, I will teach cybersecurity today. So absolutely nothing about, and it could go down to 17. I wouldn't be surprised, but your next target should be like around 30s. So you see this pattern if it follows up. This is the weekly chart. Go for daily as well. All right, so that's my take on FireEye. Not a bad stock. The stock looks like it has a cloud bottom resistance, but it could take off anytime soon, and you have to be patient with it. All right, FUBO. So this stock, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna lie about it. I did buy this stock around the 40s, and I'm down heavily on it. But huge volume. We haven't seen this kind of volume since ever. What was the volume today? Like over 100 million? Yeah, it's definitely over 100 million. Is it bottoming out? I don't know. Am I going to hold it? Yeah, it's a good long-term play. Am I down huge? Was I wrong on it? Yes. But I think that, again, the $20 range is no-brainer. Okay. And it's probably going to go towards 33 again. But the volume just makes my confidence even higher on today's action. And then another thing is that you have huge money going in by the institutional money, Comcast, Disney, and all the other names that I've forgot right now, but huge money going in around here, around these price levels here. So before December, they reported on December 31st. So they must, this is institutional right here, okay? But the issue here is that the institutionals probably went in around like $28, $30, this area here. It's definitely going back up there. It's just that I don't know how long it would take us to reach back the 40 levels. Because every time I have to I have to extend this every time. So your target should be right around here. Makes sense. 37 area makes sense. So I'm going to delete the bottom channel here. Yeah, I'd say 37 to 41, but when I cannot give you time at this point. 2060 is a definite bottom for this. I don't know the next earnings. We'll get a surprise like this. The next earnings, we had a spike, and then everything went down, and of course, all the high growth names came down with it. I don't see anything wrong with the company. I think that if you're watching soccer, your 2022 World Cup, the European Championships, and then you have the South America, Africa Cup, Asia Cup. Soccer is widely viewed, and then eventually your football season is going to start sometime. I don't know when, but the stock is going to build momentum around that. So till then, maybe till, summer, it might just go around and hover over the 30s. And then we get the World Cup, and then we get, all the advertisement, then we get NFL starting and so forth. People are not going to the stadiums yet anytime soon that I think. Even for the European Championships, I think 25% capacity. So people are highly likely to go and watch things at home, not even at bars. I don't think, and I don't see the purpose, guys. I had Corona. Now I got tested again today. We'll get news to see if it's totally out of my system, and it should be because I'm out of my quarantine, um, so I'm safe to go outside. A lot of people, it's no joke. You can't really go and what's the point of walking in the bar with a mask where you have less possibility of catching Corona out in the sidewalk walking and there's nobody next to you? And you go in the bar with a face mask, and then you sit down and you can take off your mask, and then a bunch of people are sitting, yeah, the 6 feet, blah, blah, blah. But when you're watching sports, you're yelling, you're screaming, spit and so forth is going to go towards travel more than 6 feet. I don't know. Definitely, when I watch my soccer team and they score, my spit would probably travel down 160 feet, forget 6 feet. So, having said that, people are probably going to buy in these sporting, like, ESPN and Hulu and other names out there as well. DraftKings, Kathy is buying a lot. So these names are going to be popular eventually. And I don't know like if you get a shot, you can go in the bar and so forth, and you don't have to wear a mask. I don't know. There's going to be different rules, but I think that the World Cup, the European Championship is a huge um, momentum for the stock. And you see what it did, just the news. South America Cup and World Cup for Qatar, you see the news how much it spiked. So I think it's gonna turn out. And I've talked about too much fundamentals, the technical part of it. It couldn't. You see this trend right here. It couldn't stay above, close right under it. So that's concerning. But then the bottom, the 2060 level, is definitely a psychological support level here. But first, you got to beat your 20-day moving average here. It hasn't been since when back in February 18th. Since then, the 20-day has not been able to be taken out. And if it does, then you'll see the stock move up tremendously. So you're looking at $26, 26.22. When you take that out, then you're flying. You're going towards 37.41. Okay. Next up is JAGX. I am not sure of this company either. Jaguar Health. No, I heard of it. I heard of Jaguar Health. Wow, it's a nice looking chart. I don't know how you found it, where you found it. It's been a while since I've taken a look at this stock. But definitely has something going with it. And you can see that 100-day moving average acting very supportive. But you got to watch these trends. If it takes this out, I think this has a long way to run. I don't know what the story was with the spike. Honestly, like, I read Benzinga, not that I'm promoting them, but like whatever the news media outlet there, right? And I forget these things, especially the medical names out there. Looking at 339 to 388, eventually, if good news hit, you're gonna look at $8 area. Of course, any pharmaceutical at this point with low price, it's always a speculation. You either hit a home run or you fail, and it goes back to like under dollar. But what I could say is definitely squeeze coming to a play. MACD is ready. Stochastics, I can see like it's having a higher low. but RSI is not ready yet. Volume hasn't been kicked in yet, and I believe that the drop here, actually, I don't see any serious volume. We'll go all the way down. You see, like, the drop, I don't know what this was, but other than that, you look at the stock, and when it moves up, it goes in, like, way above, like 80, 100, 150, 200. Look at these big buy volumes. So it's next to nothing with the current average volumes is next to nothing with the buy volumes. Yeah, the volume per price might be different because it was $1 there. Now it's, a higher price, but even here, you get some nice spike of volume. Okay. So I believe that this stock is going to run towards 339, but you got to watch the 100-day. If it loses the 100-day, then you need to get out. Okay. But nice looking chart. Next up is KFF, again, a stock that I have not am fully aware of. I might need to fin services. So, you get your fintech, these names like, I don't know, Asian names, especially Tiger, Fudu, all these things out there are there, and they become very popular. But then again, when the curiosity goes out, then you're left with the stock. So I don't know if Kingsway is one of those services that it's FOMO play, but we'll definitely look at the chart. I just wanted to warn you guys that yeah, when these names are popular and hot, people buy them, especially those clowns that I was mentioning. They'll tell you to buy, and then when things go the other way, they'll say we cashed out, and just leave you out there with the stock. All right, so I think it could go run towards the cloud top right here is 492. Very supportive. 100-day moving average is very supportive here. Watch out for that though. Your support is going to be 441. Cloud bottom 465 is going to be your resistance. The next resistance is 492. I'm not going to, like, it's a slow moving stock. I don't know if it's a buy and hold stock. I'm not familiar with this name, but the chart isn't bad. The chart isn't bearish. Now looking at the 5-week chart, you can clearly see two resistance levels. Okay, one is here, which is your current support, and then right here you see this bottom here and the bottom here. So you're looking here. This is going to be your resistance. Let's zoom back. I can put another resistance right here. Okay. Now let's zoom back to the 1-year chart, daily 1-year chart, and there you go. So pretty close to what we were saying. Your support is going to come around 432. Your resistance is at 484. I'd go for the cloud top, which is 490. But pretty much it's in the same motion. I can't really tell if this stock is like winding up for the next run. However, it did pretty much with the 5-year chart, it did pretty much recover all this drop. So you're looking around 550s at max, and then I have to reevaluate. Definite bottoming out. It's a long-term play, I would say. But I wouldn't really, it's not an exciting stock. I don't know, it doesn't seem like it's paying dividend anymore, is it? So I'm not really very excited about the chart. You see, like, it can build momentum like this, and then a good news, it can run up. So I don't know if we're in the same motion and waiting for another news to go up. The top of the chart is $6, which is about the previous, 5-6 years ago highs. But if you follow this channel, you should be good. So let's go ahead and take a look at LOTZ, the next stock. I don't know if this was another SPAC yet. It was a SPAC, a $10 valuation, and then as I've told you guys, once SPACs are, changed, they totally change into whatever company they're, going into. I don't know what you guys call that, but I guess merge or whatever, right? Or event, it's not an IPO, but I guess, like, I can't call it an IPO, but anyhow, once it's done, you see the effect. Again, you'd have like these guys that told you to buy these names around here. And when I was asked right around here, should we get it? And I said, no, I'm not very confident about it. Reason being is that I'm not confident about the chart. I don't know the business, right? When I'm telling you guys things like, buy or sell, these are my opinions only, and my opinions come from reading the chart. If I can't read it, or if I'm not confident about the chart, then I say like I'm not confident about it. However, it is above the 9-day and 20, so I'm looking at $8.64 would be my next target. If would it surprise me to have it go back down the trend? No, but I think this stock is so beaten down, and once people forget about it, that's when it's going to take off. I think it should just go back to $10, and it will eventually. But in the longer term of things, you're an investor. I just keep on averaging. I like to average down. If you went in heavy, don't never go too heavy on your initial position. I can't tell you to go put down 50K at these lows, but if you're just trying to build your position and finalize it, these are good areas to average down, because not only that the stock had tried to break above the 9 and 20 couple times, finally now it's doing it again. You have to really be careful on it, because it tricked us a couple times. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Your definite resistance is going to be 885, the 50-day moving average. So I'd go for 50-day moving average as my short-term target. The bearish scenario will be the base right here at 711. So not much, and a lot of people, had said lots. They asked me about it. I do want to talk about it as much as I want to, but it's pretty clear. You see this, descending wedge, but it's not the bottom of the wedge. One thing. The second thing is that every time that it went over the 9 and 20, then it just kept crashing down. So I just want to see how much time you have to give some time and evaluate to see if it stays over 20-day. And then we'll see what happens. Your support, the short-term side of support would be the 9-day moving average, which is 763. My target, again, 864 to 8 or $9, around that range should be your, right here, should be your target. Okay? MGA, another name that I'm not very familiar with. Magna International. I don't know what the company does. I'm sorry. They might be, if they're famous, I'm sorry, but the chart looks darn good. The company looks strong with dividends, delivery. Look at the earnings, just keep on increasing and increasing. I think this is more, if you're trading the name, that's fine, but I think this is a good investment. Let's take a look at the long-term chart. Seems like a good investment. Yeah, constantly delivering, and it has been increasing its dividend. When you play dividend companies, they don't really play like Coca-Cola or whatever, right? Pepsi. They don't really increase that much, but something happened over the last couple of years. I could say starting, when are these dates? Something happened in 2020, I guess, after Corona crash right here. Just kept on exploding. And the weekly chart, look anytime that it hits the 9-day on the weekly chart, holy crap. So I think this is just, you can see clearly on the weekly. I think I'm glad that I actually, this is a bullish chart, definitely. And it's a clear breakout. How far it could go, let's just zoom in a little bit on the yearly or the daily on the 1-year chart. I really like the chart. Actually, out of the entire day that I reviewed all the stocks, I like this chart the best. It already reached the 50%. I think it's going to retry that area. So you're looking at 91.10 to 92.78. And then eventually your long-term target should be $107. I like the chart. I mean, definitely a good looking, handsome chart. you're looking at any explosion. You're looking at if the channel continues to deliver, and the 20 and the 9 right here is going to be like it's going to wear you out a little bit because it's on a tight trading range. The 9 and 20 is squeezing out. Once the price stays above the 20 and the 9-day keeps on increasing, you're looking at a bullish run. The weekly especially, I love how the 5-year chart on the weekly looked. It's definitely a flag and a run to the upside. So good looking chart. Nice recommendation. Next up is, let me just change this to 1 year again, is NCY or NCTY. Did I spell this right? D9 Limited ADR. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like an Asian company. I'm sorry that I have no clue what it does. But the chart looks like the 100-day might look like a definite support. It's not. Is it bottoming out? It's a risk, of course. When you play these names, it's always a risk. But the upside potential is pretty good. I can say that. It's definitely a squeeze play. This would be a trading name, not an investment for me. You can see the moving day averages are still bearish, but then the internals, the MACD is about a crossover. I like to take risks on these kinds of plays. Regardless of what you think, you can't make money if you can't risk. And I think that this has a nice potential to get back in the cloud. So 41 to 45. This could be a nice 100% move. Yep. I like the chart. I don't know the name. I have to investigate it a little bit, but I like the chart. I'm always cautious on ADRs, especially Asian names out there. No offense to Asians or anything, but when the auditing of the companies, the accounting, the the bookkeeping of the companies in Asia don't have a good reputation. So 1 to 10 split here. Yeah, I'd have to research this company, but the chart doesn't look that bad, especially from 2020. Watch out, but it's a risky play, but I think it has a good risk to return ratio. My goal would be 41, 45, or even $58. All right, so NIO is next up, and this is, I want to delete a lot of things in this chart. Looks really busy. Let's take a look at the weekly chart. I keep clicking the wrong thing here. You see how like things turn around when you look at the weekly, it gives you a better idea of what's going on. I know I drew so many lines, but it's pennant within a pennant, pennant within a pennant. I think on the weekly, it's not ready yet. Absolutely not ready yet. You see the MACD stochastics RSI. Nothing is ready yet on the weekly. Now let's take a look at the yearly. Yearly though, it looks like it's the MACD is raising, stochastics is trying to do its thing. It doesn't look that bullish, but I don't think this is ready yet. Yeah, the 9-day is clinging up like it's trying to save, the price is trying to stay right on the 9-day, a hammer for the daily. But you see this trend is so, I drew this on the weekly, so it's going to look a little different. But you see how the trend here is so definitive that you can literally see like what's going to happen. The bottom, for if you're playing like weekly options or something, 36.86 seems like a nice support. Today's lows, the 2 days ago low, 4.7, so 2 days ago low, seems pretty good. But I wouldn't, I don't know. It has a risk of going back down to $32. I just don't know why it would do that. The company has solid numbers and everything, but I I would wait for the longer term. Does it have a huge upside potential? Yeah. Does it have a good, nice long run story? Yes. If it hits American markets, would it gain a lot? Yes. But for now, with all the things that I've just said, for now, technically the chart doesn't look ready. I mean, I'm trying to find a way to like make it look bullish, but I can't. The chart doesn't look ready. You can say this is a double bottom and it's flagging. I'm not sure yet. And if that's the story, we can take a look at it. Has reached the 50 percentile. Your next 41 to 42 area is going to be your upside. But I just can't see a short-term spike yet. I was patient with Apple, and I waited and I waited and I timed it perfect, and then the options paid off. But for this name right here, I don't think the time has come yet. So we have to wait. Not a bad looking. It has a huge potential. Huge potential. Don't get me wrong. It's just that that potential is not ready yet to move to the upside. So that potential might be, I don't know, it could drag you out and go up and down till $27. I don't know. I have to see the chart, and you can see if you call this a double bottom. And NIO did trick me, guys. I mean, honestly, I thought that it was going to go really high to $80 range. Technically it looked so bullish. It just didn't play out the way it should have. So in the longer term, you're looking at $46 to $49. And if you're doing like more than 1 year, your goal should be 78, 88. But in the meantime, I don't know how far this pennant this wedge is going to play out. Like it looked the same, and it could look like a head and shoulder. I can draw you that really quick. The issue here is this. Right? You can do head and shoulder here. Your neckline, if it breaks down, I mean it's not a perfect drawing, by the way. I just like scribbled something, but you can see what I'm trying to say here, that it could play out two ways. It could play this, head and shoulder play. It's clear. There's no doubt about it. Or it could, go like this and then go like that. Or you have a trend line here. So let me just delete the rest of what I drew. When I have this many possibilities, I like to stay away. Like possibilities mean outcome, possibilities of different outcomes. Break out, come out. I don't know. It's all your choice. You're going to play this head and shoulder, or are you going to play this long, wedge that I drew here? Or you just don't give a heck and you're just going to, do a Hail Mary. I don't know. But for me, I don't see anything definite yet to tell you, like how I was so confident with SPY, and I said it's going to go to 411, and it did in 2 weeks when everybody was jumping off the roof and cashing out. I wrote 10 books. I've been in the market for 35 years, cashing out. Get the hell out of here. Hate these people. And then you have these suckers pumping them up and like, oh, I bought your book. Maybe I didn't reach page 80. You were right. Bullshit. Okay, anyhow. So you're looking at so many possibilities. I would say that a good buying point would be the low 30s. But I don't want to say anything. I don't want to say anything until it breaks out. Next up is NNDM. So NNDM, again, I've been saying I was right the whole time. I was. Look how perfect this played. Now, this could be a little wedge right here. I can draw it. Okay. Or it could be a triangle. Pennant, whatever you want to call it. However, the MACD and stochastics is bottomed out basically. It's worth to try, but I think the rotation that I talked earlier in the video, that's going to go towards the high, cap, the large cap tech stocks. It's going to have this weight a little. And I've seen a lot of head and shoulders, just we did NIO, right? And if you just look at this, let me take another screenshot and show you what I see. I think Russell, we got to wait out a little. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm just trying to be cautious, Russell, we got to wait out a little. Now, we see these head and shoulder plays, and if you lose 770, you're going down. So, I mean, I don't care if you like what I have to say or disagree. I have to tell you what I see. Just a minute ago, when I told you that, yeah, I see, a possible bullish move here. Well, how far is that bullish move? It's going to probably go towards the 966. That's it. I'm not saying it's going to go to $18. You have to watch 770. It's very critical. It's been holding it 1, 2, 3, 4 days in a row. 4 days. 5. Lost it here and then came back up. You see this area. It's very critical. Okay. It looks much or less like Palantir in a bit. Like if we go to, I don't know if anybody requested Palantir. I'll do it for myself because I have Palantir. But but the thing with Palantir is that it went up and it kind of did like a little flag and it broke out. So if NNDM does that, then I'll reevaluate it. But for now, anybody's call. If I'm not confident about the chart, I'm just going to say I don't know. And this one, I don't know. It could go bearish and it could destroy you, or it could go bullish. But if it does go bullish, I'm telling you the target is 966. I'm not telling you $20. Okay. So that's NNDM. Next up is Ride. Wow. It's really been beaten down, and it did reach our target. You see how it reached our target and it just crashed down. Honestly, I've heard this company, I'm not sure how real they are, and don't get me wrong, what I mean by that is like I haven't done like too much investigation, so I don't know if they're like Nikola legit, or are they Tesla legit, or are they like NIO legit, or are they, some fake company. I don't know. The chart is definitely had reached, and it's probably like that's the area that I'd look for as a resistance. 9 days supporting, 20 days going to be your, I'm going to zoom in a bit, is going to be your resistance. If you want to get in the name now, I guess it's pretty low. Like you have nothing to lose at this point. So your support closed below the 9-day. That's a bad sign. You don't want to lose the $11.81 area, and your resistance is going to be $13. I'm not going to give long outdated targets here because I don't know the potential of the company. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it doesn't have a potential. It's just that I don't know the potential. And you can draw many things here and there. You can draw so many things and say it broke out. I don't know if we're going to see a run like that. There's Helion out there too. I don't know if you could compare this with Helion. I don't know what it does, but Helion also had a good, 14-15% spike, and then it closed the day negative. So I don't know. Like the MACD stochastics looks right. RSI is way oversold, so it should jump up. It's just that you see how this cloud bottom and this previous bottom here is coinciding with each other. That's going to be $13. That's going to be your resistance. Other than that, I'm not going to go and pump the stock and say it's going to go to like 40. Yeah, it's been beaten down, and you buy the names, beaten down names, to make the most buck out of your money. So if you're going to get it now, that's fine. But will it fill the gap here at $10, $10.80? It could possibly well, and that's your risk. And it already has done that. So that's your risk. Your risk is going and taking the hit at $10.80 or going and maybe breaking above 13. That's your call. For me, I don't know the company as much, and all I can say is that at least the 9-day is curling up. The stochastics and RSI looking good, but I just don't know the company well enough to say it's going to recover fast. Next up is TSM. Let's go there. TSM is a nice company, solid company. It looks like it got in the cloud. I think it's going to break, and it did break out of this pennant. Nice looking chart. And there's a shortage of, chips or semiconductor products, or I don't know what it was with the Tesla story, right? We've all heard NIO and Tesla. But it looks like it broke out of this and it's going to go huge. But again, it's a slow moving stock and you gotta be patient with it. But I love the chart. It did already reach the 50% extension. Now, I might be a couple cents off of there. I did it zoomed out, so but just excuse the couple cents here and there. That's fine. Broke above all the moving day averages. Only thing is the 50-day, and once it crosses all the internals looking bullish here as well. I think that this stock is going to hit 147 and then eventually 172. An awesome looking chart. I'm surprised. I usually don't look at TSM a lot, but honestly, I should have. Very nice looking breakout. I love it. Nice dividend paying company. Earnings are always solid. It's a nice solid company, even though it's an ADR. When you're buying an ADR, buying at least an ADR something like this, right? Don't go for these penny stock, scam companies or whatever. As soon as it breaks out of this channel right here, the 61 and 50, this thing is flying. So it's a very nice. I think I changed my mind. The best looking chart so far that we've reviewed is TSM. Next up is VISL, VISLink Technologies. Looks like a nice large cup and handle. I'm not sure. Again, I guess it's a tech company, but not familiar with the business. But all I can say is that there's a nice formation here, and you can say like it's a nice cup and handle, which I'm going to go ahead and draw in a second. One to 6 split, which is not a good sign usually. The reverse splits are good, but here you have this cup and handle. I don't know how this is going to play out. As you can see, sometimes you have this and then it just breaks down. So it's important to break out of these things. So again, you'll have very similar to, here, let me go ahead and, you have two similar scenarios here, okay? You see this scenario where it looked like it was doing this perfect shape right here, and it couldn't break out. It was at the bottom of the cloud and it just crashed down. Same scenario here. You have the curling bottom, you have this downtrend, and it looks like it's about to break over. If it crashes, it's going to go nasty. I'd wait for the confirmation to at least break above the cloud and then go. I'm not saying the chart is bearish, it's definitely bullish. It's just that we've seen that scenario. I've showed the representation of the two moves right there. So you don't want to end up going down again to $1 and then having a reverse split or whatever. But the good thing is at least you're so much above the 100-day moving average. Bad part is that now your 9 days acting 20 and 50 is acting as a huge resistance, as I've seen in many rejections here. You got many rejections here, especially the 9-day. This is bearish. You get the spike up and then it just sold out. I don't know. I don't know the company as much. Yeah, in the long term, you do see a huge cup and handle, but in the shorter term side of things, the 9 days acting as a huge resistance, and this, this candle right here looks bearish. So we'll see. I would say that I'd be bullish if it breaks out of the cloud. That's my only indicator in this chart. As long as you're staying at the bottom of this cloud, now you're going to say you've seen a lot of charts that the chart is at the bottom of the cloud, but you're bullish. Well, I can't be bullish when I see 1 to 6. I can't be bullish when I see a candle like this, we will see. We will see. I don't want to look. Yeah, the long-term chart looks bullish, but in this sign of a huge wedge and a squeeze could be a very bullish sign. But I would be on the cautious side. I would be very cautious and put tight stop limits. And then I'd be very bullish if you're above the cloud. Finally, I'm gonna move to Palantir, and it's gonna be my last stock. If you had requested, so I usually start recording at 4 o'clock, give breaks in between, but during the recording. But this is the thing. If you requested after 4, I probably not wrote down the list, or I didn't write your stock in my list of review. So please try to request it during the day. I can't really review like more than 20 names. It goes over an hour. So anyhow, Palantir. There's no doubt that I can't really deny the head and shoulders here. By the way, my largest position in my portfolio. Largest position ever, actually. I've never put down this much into a single stock lately. Yeah, you can see the head and shoulder that I've indicated. However, you can also see this save, 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 and save. And Kathy going balls deep on this stock since, this drop. So you can see a nice backwards ice cream with 2 scoops. I don't know. Well, you could see a very nice bottoming formation, and you can see this range, okay? This is your next range, this huge support line. I remember 2250. I never forget that number. That was the bottom. I did miss, I sold it right here and missed this huge potential, missed pretty huge money on it. But at least I had options that I played right here, and I made like 800% on one and then like 300% on the other one. That's fine. That's fine. So now what we're looking at here is that the bottoming is there. And 20-day, we closed above 20. I was so excited when we closed above the 20 here. But the cool thing is the 9-day, this time is crossing the 20. Okay, let's zoom in. I'm going to close this. Let's zoom in. So the last time, that wasn't the scenario. 9-day was so much lower than the 20, and it looked like it was crossing, but the price went down, right? This time, the price is above. Now, if the moving days also cross, then you're looking at a potential of $26. Well, I hate to, kill the party and tell you that, oh, it's going to 26. I could easily say it's going to 50. Yeah, it will eventually, someday, right? 56 is my target. And I told you that my timeline is the end of June, so July. By July, I'm expecting 57, 56, 59. So that's about $57 target. But I'm not going to look that far because people are concentrated in this demo day. I don't care. I'm buying it like as Kathy's mentality here. I wish I had the money as much as she had to buy more. But my mentality is that I'm going to keep this for more than a year. One, for tax saving purposes. The second is that I think it has the potential of the growth. Just like when I bought Facebook at $19 and they were working on the phone app, and I said it has a potential, and I kept buying. When it was 30 as well, I bought it. My friend was like, "You're crazy. The stock is 19. You made money. Instead of selling, you're buying more." Now it's over 300. Now, of course, I didn't keep. I wish. So this is the thing, right? You catch a stock like that, and it's like in the 20s, and then if somebody were to tell you that this Palantir stock, in 9 years, 8 years, it will be $300, will you keep it? Yeah. Would I be a millionaire if it went to, no, I wouldn't be a millionaire, but close to it. So pretty much my target here is 26. If you're swing trading, 26.88 should be your target. If you're long on the stock, at least if you can wait a year, my target by July is 56. So why would I sell at 26 when my target is 56? And people were laughing, by the way, when my target was 41, 42 and we were around like $21. This stock hits, it goes. And it's about to take out, guys. You see this little flag and it took out. It's definite, and the 100 and the 50 is crossing down. That's a bullish sign, and the 20 and 9 is crossing towards up. So that's all bullish. And the MACD has been down so much, negative. Stochastics is looking bullish again. RSI is picking up. I like the I like the turnover in the stock. You can draw another extension here, right? Or not extension, I'm sorry, a trend line. Okay, you see this right here. It broke above the wedge. It's bullish. It's turning out to be, going out pretty good. It's just that it's a patience game. Are you doing weekly calls? Are you buying swing trading for 5 days? What is your strategy? I don't know. My strategy is that I ain't selling anything till $56. I don't have many shares. I probably have like 2,100 shares. But again, like you can't go put all your money in one stock. I wish I, had the mentality to do it. But I'm pretty much split between FUBO, Palantir, Apple, and I'd go for other stocks too, but I want to keep some cash on the side, raising cash as well. When the cash is going to go towards Palantir, no doubt. I'm only options in Apple right now, which I'm pretty handsomely up. Didn't put much, but I gained more than Palantir. That's the trick, right? The amount of money I have in Palantir, I swear I wish I had the balls to go, because I had like 15K, and I was gonna go for the Apple 130s for April 16th, and it was 55 cents. I wish I put it. I would have like quadrupled my money. I don't know what it ended at. Last time I checked, it saw like 240. It's like, wow, it's thunder. It's lightning and thundering too. Probably, I'm not sure if you heard the thunder, but rainy weather in Maryland, I guess the East Coast. Anyhow, stay safe. Stay away from Corona. It did knock me out for good, 2 weeks. The thing that I could tell you is that for the first 5, 6, 7 days, you don't know that you have Corona. My wife had it. She was positive. I was perfectly fine for 5, 6, even a whole week. I was fine. I'm like, well, I guess, I'm not, I probably had anti-core or whatever, right? I was surprised it didn't touch me or kill me. And then the 8th day, that's when I felt muscle pain, fever on the 9th day. And then I was like, all right, I think I'm pretty tired. And it felt like I had a flu. I had pneumonia before, which is way worse. So if you're healthy, young, athletic, I'm not saying go get corona, but I'm just saying that it's kind of like flu and then it takes a couple weeks to recover. But if you have underlying conditions, health conditions, it's very tricky and it could get complicated. Just stay safe. And I'm just going to try to recover as much as possible. My lungs are pretty much filled and I can't do any physical activities other than just walking. And that even not for a long time. So stay safe. Make sure you take precautions and we'll see you guys next Friday.